What's up, Guiding Bolt fans? This is Nick. We are on day number 9 of the Codewars Python Training Challenge, and today we are going to try to solve Incrementer. So let's get started. It says, given an input of an array of digits, return the array with each digit incremented by its position in the array. The first digit will be incremented by 1, second digit by 2, etc. Make sure to start counting your positions from 1 and not 0. Your results can only contain single-digit numbers, so if adding a digit with its position gives you a multi-digit number, only the last digit of the number should be returned. Notes: return an empty array if your array is empty. Arrays will only contain numbers, so don't worry about checking that. I'm going to have to look at the examples here because I'm not sure that made 100% sense to me. So the array passed in 1, 2, 3 returns 2, 4, 6. So based on its position in the array, but we're starting at position 1 and not 0. Okay. So for example, number 1 is passed in. We're considering it being at position 1, so we add 1 to it instead of 0. 2 would be position 2, so that double to 4, so on. So this is makes it a little bit easier to see with this second example here. So 4 being in position 1 would be 4 plus 1 is 5. 6 position 2 returns 8. 9 position 3 would be, so 9, 10, 11, 12, but we are not returning 12 because we only want a single digit return and we have to return the second one. So that might be a little tricky, because in order to get the second position of an integer, we have to convert that to a string, right? So let's pull up PyCharm here, just so I can already tell this one's going to be a turd. So let's say my int is equal to 12, right? So if I try to go my int and select the second position, or the second index of that, which would be, so 1, let's just consider this is the 1 being the 0 position, or the first position, and then 2 being the second. If I try to select the second, I'm going to get this error, int object is not subscriptable. So I would have to, my string is equal to string my int. So now we can see that it's an actual string over here. And now if I try to go my string and select the second position, I can actually pull that 2 out of there. So we're going to have to account for that. Let's get that back up here. Let's grab this, drop that over to here, and then let's get a example to use. I guess we'll just take the first one here and go back over. So let's see here. How do we want to start this? So let's go ahead and first off, I think we're going to create a for loop here. We'll create a for loop, and instead of going over each one of the items in the array, because basically, so we need to add 1 to this, 2 to this, 3 to this in this example. So let's go ahead and do a for loop, and instead of iterating over each of these, let's iterate over a range. And we'll do, because if we do the range, then we can say, we should be able to start it where we can go position 1, position 2, position 3, or 1, 2, 3. So for I, I'll show you what I mean here. So we'll say for I in range. The nice thing about the range method here is we can pick where we want to start it at, or the range function. So if we tell this to start at 1, and then we'll go up to the length of nums, or the array, so the length of the array, The only problem is, though, is it's still going to, if we start at 1, it goes up to and doesn't include, right? Let's see here. So if we say, let's see here, just as, so let's just say nums is equal to, and we'll create a list here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if we say for I in range length, or range length nums, print I, what does that give us? So that gives us 0, 1, 2, 3, because it is 4 positions, but it still starts at index 0. But if we said range 1 to length of nums, what does that give us? So that gives us 1, 2, 3, but now that's incorrect because we have 4 positions in there. So is it better to do it, well, let's just, so if we just say +1, right? What is it? Then that'll give us the correct value that we're looking for, I think. Oops. There we go. So now we got that. So it's going to go from 1 to 4. So, I can tell this is going to be a sloppy one. Now that we have that, let's go ahead and create a variable or a placeholder to find our, or let's, getting lost here already. My brain is not working at full capacity today. So let's go ahead and create a variable to hold our I plus the nums position, so plus the index, so whatever is in the position of, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, however many positions there are. So we'll just call this number, and we'll say number is equal to I plus nums, and then we'll go whatever position it's at. Except for that's going to mess us up there now too, because using I for this, we're always going to be off by 1, because when we try to select position 0, we're actually selecting position 1 because we're telling it to start from there. I'm sure there's a cleaner way to do this, but we could say -1 then instead. So up here, since we're looping through the range, for the length of this, we're adding 1, but down here where we actually want to select the index, we're selecting I minus 1 to make sure that we actually get the correct position. So this will add, so this will add the number for the range plus the actual position, or whatever is in the position of the array. Okay, and then, so number is going to be the actual number that we want, so, which is good, but we need to return this array, and it can be blank as well. So let's go ahead and create a blank list just in case it is actually blank. So we'll say my list is equal to nothing currently. Now we could just go ahead and append that number to this, and that would be correct because we are adding the position plus whatever the actual index is. But the problem becomes if we have something that is greater than 9, because we have to return the second, whatever the second position of that number is. Grumble. So if we say, so let's say if number is less than 9, right? Or no, greater than 9. So if the number is greater than 9, then we need to worry about it, because now we need to select the tens value, right? Is that ones, tens? But then so if number is greater than 9, then let's mylist.append, and we will append Come on. So number, see where I'm getting messed. So okay, so number 1. The problem is, again, is what I was just showing you earlier, is we can't select that. So we need to convert, yes, we need to convert this to a string first. So we're going to say my string is equal to string, and then number. So then down here, we're going to say mylist.append. Problem is we still want it as an int. So I'll have to say, oh, good lord. So my string, convert it to an int though when we actually append it. Wait a minute, why is it saying my list? No. My string. There we go. All right. Lord help us. So we're saying my string is equal to string, whatever the number is. And then we are saying mylist.append the tens value of my string, and we're converting it back to an int. So in our previous example, if this was 12, we would be grabbing 2 and adding it to my list. And then else, do we have to do any monkeying around here? I think we can just say mylist.append, and then we can actually just call this one number then. Oh man, let's see what this spits out at us here. Let's print this bad boy. And see if it actually returned none. Why did it return none? Oh, because I didn't do because I didn't return anything. Return my list. There we go. There we go. So that looks correct. So 2, 4, 6, but that only looks correct if we don't have. Let's take one of these other ones where it actually has a position that's going to be over. Actually, let's take this one, because this one for sure is going to have positions that are over, where our number is going to be greater than 9. Let's drop that in here instead. And run that again. So potentially, so 9, 10, 11, 12 should return to 2. 8 in the 4th position, so 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 again. So that actually looks correct there. Do we want, how can we make this better? By making the video really long. It's probably how we can make it better. So let's not do that. Let's just see if we can pass this sucker again. That's what we're trying to do on here. I don't want to be making 30-minute videos or hour-long videos while I'm sitting here scratching my head trying to figure this stuff out. We want to try to solve it, hopefully learn a little bit, and then give whoever's out there watching this stuff something to work with. And then I will spend time trying to figure this out and make this a little bit better on my own time, but I'm not going to make you guys and gals suffer through it. So I am surprised that we actually passed that, just because of how muddy this looks. But let's go ahead and give this the full-blown attempt. We're just going to quit right there while we're ahead. Gosh, is there any last? No, nope. So I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. We're just going to submit it. We're going to be happy with that. Hopefully day number 10 goes a little bit smoother, because I'm not really thrilled about that one, but we're going to take it. Again, look at this right here. Gah. All right. Thanks for watching. We're going to stop it right there. We'll see you in the next one, hopefully. If I make it through another one. Take it easy.